All right, what's up everybody? Today we are installing the H2O storage box in the Winnebago Revel. This box is made, there's different versions of it, but we have one for the new 2025 Revel. We have one for the new 25 Revel Sport that they just announced, which is basically this Revel, and then also for the Revel 21 through 24s and the Terrains and the Launches. So the one that we're building today is specific for the Winnebago Revel 21 through 24 models. You should get it in 3 boxes, and you'll have this little bolt and rubber washer, spacer, and a nut to bolt it to the passenger side GLSS Pro. Put that to the side. You're gonna have a top. Let's open that up, and let's be really careful when we're opening these tops up so we don't scratch it. What I like to do is on my utility knives, I like to pinch right here so this thing's only sticking out 1/8 of an inch, and then I can sit here and cut this tape, and I know I'm not gonna rip the box, and then I can open it up that way as well. So just be careful when you're opening these. All right, so when you open them up, if you open up one end and you slide this out, chances are you are going to build everything and you're going to be like, wait, I don't have the hardware for to put my top onto my H2O box. And that is because it is probably taped on the inside of the box. So we get this from time to time. Make sure, I suggest you make sure everything is accounted for on a table, ready to be built before you start. And that way you're not looking for it a day later when the trash guy already came and took the trash, and now you're missing the hardware. So that happens a lot on our tables. So just make sure that you open the box all the way up, you don't scratch it, and you get the hardware out of there. All right, let's open up the box here. This will be the H2O storage box, all the aluminum components. Pop that up, super easy. All right, let's pull out all the parts, see what we're working with. And look, if you notice here, most of the time, all your keys are always gonna be taped onto here. So when you're opening it, if you're like flipping up this side, there's a good chance you could throw those away. So just keep in mind, if you're watching this video, to install this, to know that the keys most of the time are taped on, they should be taped on to the outside every time, but you never know. And then let's open this up. This is obviously the keys are on this, so I would assume that this is the door face for the H2O box. So here's your door face. The CAV logo is on the top. Our lightning bolt is on the bottom. You'll have your hardware to bolt everything down. A little wrench. And because there's 2 doors, you should have 2 sets of keys. And then this is the foot plate. And we'll talk about this real quick when I get it open. This foot plate is what you mount it. Once it gets built, this slides over your L-track stud, and then your knob screws on there, and that's what locks it down. Also, you can bolt it right here. This pops off, which I'll show you when we assemble it, and you can also bolt it to your passenger side storage system. So on a Winnebago Revel 21 through 24 and a Revel Sport 25 model, this is the foot plate. And you shouldn't have any issues with that. That just gets bolted on. But for a 25 Revel and for the Jayco Terrain and Entegra Launch, you'll also have an additional plate that goes on here because they have L-track. And this also works for the 25 Revel. You just have to take it off. So when it gets bolted on this, you just have to take this off so you can slide it and match the L-track in the 25 Revel. But you can use this for the 25 Revel as well. You just have to unbolt it. The goal for us with our Pro Series is all this stuff will work with a minor adjustment like the footplate on all these vans that we specialize in. And we do that for inventory purposes. We do that for our dealers as well, so when they inventory our products, they don't have to have 5,000 SKUs. That one SKU with one extra footplate for a different model van is all they need. Okay, and then this is the big door, and there you go. Okay, what I like to do is I got all my parts out here. We're good there. This door, the skinnier door, is going to be the door that's facing here, and the larger door is the one on the back end of your van, okay? And then we all know the top is the Cav logo or 290s. Those will always be the top. The bottoms only have 190 on there, okay? And then you need an end piece to bolt it to, and then we need all the nuts and bolts. So let's put that to the side. The wood top will be the last thing that we bolt on. So we pull all these out. We got our extra keys. Okay, so this piece goes against the passenger side. And again, this is the top because it has 290s. It also has some threaded inserts on the top. And there's an opening because when this gets bolted into this hole right here, like so, you still have access to opening this to even have a longer storage all the way to the end of your van. So that's a really cool feature that we did on the H2O storage box. So first thing I want to do is slide this on. These have pre-installed studs already on them, just like so. I'm going to grab 3 lock nuts and get them hand started. And then once I get these started, I'm going to go ahead and crank them down before I put the other side, just to give me some more workspace and I'm not fighting trying to get my arm in there. And you can see there's a little bit of play, which is what we want, so that way we can keep the tops nice and flush. Okay, so let me get my drill. Again, you've seen our other videos. You can use a ratchet, you can use the supplied wrench. This works just as well. You know, if you don't have any tools, a lot of people are traveling and they don't carry a lot of tools, and we give you everything you need to build our systems. All right, so I'm gonna get this flush. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna, little pro tip, if you open up the door, I'm not fighting with that and I can get a nice straight on run at tightening this bolt. So nice and flush there. Happy with that. Okay, very simple. We're gonna do the same thing on this end. Now, this is a great opportunity to start and put this on here first instead of fighting it. There's 2 ways you can do this, right? I can bolt this on now, or I can put this door up, and then when I'm ready to bolt this on, I can kind of spread it open and then put it on that way. I'm gonna go ahead and try to bolt it on this way. And then if this was a 25 Revel, this won't line up with your track. Your track's like right here. So what we do is you just take that off and you can line it up this way. You can flip it this way, line it up with your L track, whatever you want to do. And then once you bolt it down, it locks in both sides. You don't need to have this bolt. So very, very simple process. But because this is a 24, it's super easy. I'm gonna grab the nut, get that started, tighten that down, just make sure there's not a whole lot of play in there, so you can't really mess that up. Okay, now let's get this. Again, we know the top, right? 90, flat, so Cav logo on top. Now, this should just be as easy as sliding everything right on here. Opening this up would probably help. Give yourself a little bit of play when you're doing it by yourself. You start at the bottom, just like so. Okay, and then the same thing here. So fairly easy. And then again, I like to get everything started. Again, when you open up these doors, it does give you a little more play. You're not getting frustrated trying to bolt something on. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this corner first before I get to this. Again, making sure that I'm flush on top. So this one I won't be able to, the middle one with my, it's gonna be really hard to get that in there. I could probably get it in there, but it'd be easier to do with the ratchet or even that wrench. So same thing on the top on this one, because the drill's so long. Obviously if I put a smaller bit on there, you'd be okay. But let's get this bottom one. I can get that started. Don't think I'll be able to reach that, but let's give it a shot. Yeah, let's see. There you go. So we'll have to go old school, do some manual labor. All right, that's on there. This one's hard to get to because of our piece there that's for the door. So let me go tighten it, make sure this is good. Okay, and then that one, we could probably get in here with our wrench. That makes it difficult too. So let's try putting this back on. Yep. So sometimes just getting the right, finding the right tool. This little extension helps perfectly. Okay. So if you're working with the drill, make sure you get an extension too for certain spots like that, but that's probably the only spot that you would need a little extension. All right, that's good. Let me get in here and finish this one. Okay, we're good. All right. The next step is putting the top on. So this is pretty easy. You should have a hex wrench and 4 bolts if we did our job correctly. And what I'm going to do is, you got this little curvature. This is what follows this area right in here, just like that. So that'll go towards the back. I'll line these holes up, drop this in, get them all started, get them finger tight so I know I'm not doing any cross threading. Because you can adjust this so it lines up. So you got an issue if you can't get these started with your fingers. You can move that a little bit. Pretty darn easy though. And then we'll come in here and crank these down a little bit. Won't tighten it all the way, just make sure you get this started. There we go. This is probably one of the easiest things to build here. All right, now let's go ahead and finish this. You just want to crank these down just so it's flush with your top, so you don't fill them. Same thing here. Yep. All right, so that's it. So now the next step, let me show you this while I have it outside the van, is you're going to have, this bolt is going to go through this hole. Then you're going to put this washer on it, rubber washer, just like that. And then it's going to slide. You should have one of these little plastic pieces on here. You'll pop these off. And then you have a hole right there. So that'll slide right in there, and then you'll go on the other side, and then you'll tighten this lock nut. So pick this up. I'm gonna go right over that stud. just like that. Open this up so you can see. And it'll line right up with that hole. Push that all the way in. And the reason that we use a little bit of spacer is so that this table's not hitting and you're not scratching your GLSS driver passenger side bench seat. In case you ever want to take this off, you don't have metal rubbing up against each other. So now I'll get in there. Let me get my ratchet so I don't have to come out again. And then we'll crank this on. I'll need my hex wrench. We can go ahead and lock this down. All right, just got to get it started. There we go. If you got somebody to help you, that'd be great. If not, not the end of the world. Get my ratchet on. Can kind of even open this door up. Look at that, easy access. So you can really see what you're doing. And I'm just gonna crank this down. Don't go too hard yet. I just want to get it close so I can make some adjustments. So what I'm looking for here is I just want to be flush in front. I want this to look really clean, and I think I've hit that mark. So I like where that's at. I like where the bottom's at. So I will go ahead and continue to tighten this down. And I probably have like a good 1/4 of an inch gap now. And then I can kind of straighten it out a little bit here. So if you're going up against the desktop like this, it's tight here with the gap. So I can easily just kind of straighten it out, get the same amount of gap in here. And then I'll open this up, and then I'll get my knob. And then the next thing I'll do is tighten this, lock this down. Okay, and then once that's all tied down, then everything's good. All your hoses in here. It's nice and flush in the front, and you have a full-on storage system from the front of your garage all the way to the back doors with massive storage capabilities. Like we said before, you got this door here, so if you have anything really long that you want to put through there, you got massive storage there. Again, 3 knobs, the whole thing comes out. Obviously all your hoses and stuff like that. And then this is a great countertop. And then you still have your desktop as well here. So that's the GLSS Pro passenger side with the optional upper cabinet, desktop, and then the H2O box. That's how you install the H2O box. Regardless, if you don't have this part, it doesn't matter because the H2O box gets bolted to the lower part. So if you didn't have this, you would have the wood top and a cushion. And then that just makes a nice little table for you, or a little stand, or put plants on there, or drinks, or whatever. So there you go. That's the H2O box, done, assembled, bolted on to the passenger Pro GLSS lower box with the upper box and the desktop.